Wake up, rise and shine. It's a brand new day with Mona News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today is the 12th of November, which means I hope we all are starting to buy our turkeys, because if you get them the day before, you do need to thaw them. It is not going to cook if you take a rock hard turkey from, Turkey Eve and throw it in the oven. So you do need to thaw those, you know, life tip from Mo. Welcome, Wolfram, and thank you for all of your Modly Mod duties. Welcome, Tammy Bogard, and the Boss Lady, and Cup of Joe, Free Spirit, Prepping and News, Disney Nerds, Kike, K, sorry, brain fart here, Hyacinth, welcome. And welcome everyone. Good morning. So we have a lot of news, and I learned something new from the wild, most feral of us. So I will share that at the end of this news story, because I always champion learning something new. And this was something I was very, very ignorant to before listening to this engrossing conversation on the way to school. But our first story, John Robinson, legendary USC and Rams coach, has passed away at 89. Now, I'm probably not going to do this justice, mostly because, well, I don't know sports, but I know that, I do know that the Rams play football. So, I'm moving up in the world just slightly. My mom somewhere is yelling into the screen, "He plays football. He was a great coach. What is wrong with you?" My mom is like, we football is on, and my mom understands what's happening, and I have not one clue what is going on. John Robinson, the veteran football coach who enjoyed many years of success at the University of Southern California and with the Los Angeles Rams, has passed away at 89. The Rams confirmed Robinson's death on Monday. He died in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, from complications to pneumonia, USC said in a release. Robinson is high on the short list of football coaches who enjoyed significant success in both college and pro ranks. I've got some. It's on par with door blood. I was I was having to stop snort laughing as I'm driving into school, and then explain that this subject was completely off topic for school talk. But apparently he's a very famous coach. Looks like he's been at it for a while. You guys know I don't know sports ball. You guys know I don't. He went 104, 35 and 4 at USC, and 75 to 68 with the Rams, winning postseason games and contending for championships regularly with both teams. Robinson was particularly successful in Super Bowl games, going 8-1 in the postseason with USC and UNLV. Robinson was a member of the College Football Hall of Fame for his 2 successful tenures at USC. He also became the winningest coach in Rams history during his 9-year tenure with the NFL club. Sean McVay, passed Robinson's career victories total only last month. Robinson coached at USC from 1976 to 1982, and again from 1993 to 1997. He never had a losing record at the school, and his Trojans won 5 conference titles and 4 Rose Bowls. Backs Charles White, 1979, and Marcus Allen, 1981, won the Heisman Trophy while playing in Robinson's relentless rushing offenses. Robinson moved to the Rams in 1983 and reached the playoff in 6 of his first 7 seasons, winning 4 playoff games and advancing to 2 NFC Championship games. Robinson spent 6 years coaching UNLV after his second USC tenure, also serving a stint as the Rebels athletic director. He was most recently a senior consultant at LSU from the years of 2019 to 21, and during the tenure of head coach Ed Aragian. Robinson was born on July 25th, 1935 in Chicago and grew up in the Bay Area, attending prep school with close friend John Madden and graduating from high school in 1954. He played tight end on Oregon's 1958 Rose Bowl champion team before beginning his coaching career with the Ducks. Robinson became John McKay's offensive coordinator with USC in 1972, coaching the unbeaten 1972 Consensus National Championship team and the 1974 team that went 10-1-1. Robinson left the Trojans for 1 year to join Madden with the Oakland Raiders, but returned in 1976 when McKay took over for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it sounds like he had a wonderful full life and achieved a lot of things in a sport that he was really passionate about. I hate it when I pull up sports people because I'm like, seems like he was a really great guy. And if I understood sports ball, I would, imagine this would be a legend. But I'm always like, he played sports ball and he was really good at running and catching things, which I fail at all the time. I have such low standards for athletic ability. I'm like, they could walk upstairs and not fall down all at the same time. Give her the gold medal in rhythmic gymnastics. So I hope he, will rest in peace, and I hope his family gets all the support because, around this time with the holidays coming up, I can't imagine it's an easy time to lose someone, even if, age and illness made that, a distinct possibility. It's still, there's the finality of it. And right near the holidays where, family is very important, I could imagine this would be, a really difficult time. So hopefully they're getting the support and love and care that they need. If you are on the East Coast and you have Verizon's Fios internet outages impact millions on the East Coast. So if you do have a Verizon phone and you're kind of wondering what the heck is going on, well, there's something wrong with the internet magic that powers them. Verizon's Fios internet outages have impacted millions of customers on the East Coast, causing significant disruptions in the early hours of Tuesday morning. So it looks like if you're in New York or even up in Maine, Washington, a lot of these areas look like they're having some fairly significant outages. A map of user-reported issues shows the affected area spans about 300 miles from Philadelphia to Richmond, Virginia, according to a third-party website, Down Detector, which tracks real-time service disruptions. I don't know what these words mean. I've got two stories in a row where I'm like, internet magic. Don't know how it works. Have no idea. Quote, during the incident, we received reports from Washington, Luz, Miami, LaGrange, Baltimore, Silver Spring, Raleigh, Cherry Hill, Maple Shade, Sewell, Philadelphia, San Antonio, Alexandria, Annandale, Arlington, Ashburn, Fairfax, Falls Church, Henrico County, and Norfolk County, along with 16 other cities that are reporting an outage. There's either an outage or a network maintenance impacting your area. We don't have full details yet. Our apologies for any inconvenience this is causing, a Verizon spokesperson responded to a user on X asking about the outages. We're trying to get all the information from our network team so we can provide you with an update. Well, have you tried unplugging it, waiting 10 seconds, and then plugging it back in? This is about the only thing I know of internet magic, but it works sometimes for me. An ex-user in Maryland posted an update from Verizon stating that the repairs had begun around 10:50 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, and that service was expected to be restored about 10:58 a.m. estimated time on Tuesday. So there you go. I don't know. It looks like they're working on it, but I can't tell you what exactly happened. I'm guessing someone spilled coffee on their monitor. That's how I assume all of these things happen. Someone had, clumsy hands and it's diet pop all over, the entire user, integration system, and we're just done. In what the Schnell is going on here, I don't want P. Diddy to be able to hang out with Sam Bankman-Fried and watch movies and have little, like, sleepover nights, but apparently that is where he is being housed right now. Sean Diddy Combs housed in low security jail dorm alongside Sam Bankman-Fried, where inmates can spy on female convicts. Well, I mean, I guess if you have a niche, stick with it, sir, but maybe not when you're trying to fight, I'm a human gross person charges. Maybe don't spy on the female inmates. He's at a freak off friendly jail. Sean Diddy Combs may be behind bars, but sources who have done time in the unit that he's staying in says it won't necessarily curb his allegedly pervy ways. The Bad Boy Entertainment boss is in the 4 North unit of the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn, a dorm facility that has about 20 inmates, looser rules than general population, and diversions for prisoners, including air hockey. Well, gosh darn it, I'm so glad that he gets to have air hockey. Here I was thinking Diddy was getting, round the clock gen pop justice, but he gets air hockey. Wonderful. There's one unintended feature that also provides thrills for inmates interested in female attention. Well, there goes the neighborhood. There are grates in one of the rooms on 4 North. Gino Borello, a former mob enforcer who spent time in the unit, told the Post. They have these little holes. If you lay down, you can look through the holes and talk to women on the floor down and see them. Oh god. Diddy's just gonna have, like, a great pattern on his head. He's gonna be like, "Are you a lady?" "No, but does it matter right now?" Considering prosecutors claim that Diddy and his so-called freak-offs, orgies which had, people sex workers engaged in all manner of shenanigans, uh, it begs the question as to whether or not he could be put together another clandestine big house version. He could if he wanted, said Borello. Another former inmate, a gang member who goes by the name of G-Lock, told the cryptocurrency insider Tiffany Fong when she interviewed him on X that the female inmates are not shy either. They'll show their chest or they'll show their lady bits, he boldly proclaimed. But Barella warned that the females of 4 North are rungs down from the models and professional strippers and others who have claimed to have been recruited for Diddy's crew, or by Diddy's crew for these alleged freak-offs. Quote, they're gross, he said of the third floor women. Most of them are addicted to substances. Diddy has pled not guilty to charges of racketeering and trafficking and has denied any wrongdoing. Still, a judge turned down a $50 million bail offer put up by his lawyers, although they remain hopeful that a bail request is currently being evaluated by the court. Well, I mean, he's got air hockey. Why does he want to leave? He's got air hockey, weird women to look through grates. I mean, I could imagine that this would be P. Diddy's, like, I don't know, summer camp. Before everything unraveled, Diddy's life was filled with private chefs, private jets, brooms as big as football fields, and toadies at his beck and call. These days, life in 4 North unit of the Metropolitan Detention Center of Brooklyn offers much less privacy. It can be super boring, said Jeff Nadu, who hosts the crime history podcast Sit Down with Jeff Nadu. The dorm is reserved for high-profile criminals such as Sam Bankman-Fried, who is currently serving alongside Diddy, and before he was convicted, R. Kelly, as well as others who needed close protection. However, Nadu made clear that sometimes boring is good. Go into regular units, and it's nonstop cutting and stabbing and fighting, so it's kind of better to avoid all that. A positive bit of news for Diddy is that he has more freedom than inmates in other parts of the jail. They are not in the cells. Fong's a friend and frequent correspondent with Bankman Fried told the Post. You envision them in small cells, but they're actually in a unit that's set up like a dorm and designed for high profile individuals. The president of Honduras was there. Royal treatment at the MDC is, quote, very small beds, even smaller than twins, and no more than a foot apart from one another. The beds are made of steel and the mattresses are a 1.5-inch thick, and there's no pillows. The lack of privacy doesn't end there. The showers and bathrooms only have tiny thin curtains for privacy, said Fong, who hosts the eponymous podcast. A lot can be heard by other inmates. Well, I mean, again, this guy seems to enjoy people watching him and or watching others. This sounds like, again, a slumber party, of sick weird that Diddy will like. And he has, movies, and he gets to talk to Sam Bankman-Fried. While there are no set schedules, lingering in bed and staying up all night are both encouraged. There are head counts during the day, and typically they wake up early, Fong said. Typically they're up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., and I think lights go on and off early. But according to Borello, with the right cop, you can spend all night watching television. As for the day-to-day, Fong ticks off more time killers than you can imagine. There's a gym, board games, card games, ping pong. She said inmates have access to tablets and they're not connected to the internet. They can watch movies, play video games, listen to music. Apparently there are books, but those are limited. Michael Lewis's Going Infinite about Bankman-Fried was not there when Sam first arrived, but it is now. Probably someone smuggled it in. As far as good food goes, Diddy's not eating his favorite delicacies such as truffle pasta and lobster. They have chicken sandwiches on some days, said Fong. There are hot dogs, along with so-called murder burgers, made from a thin patty compared to shoe leather by one former inmate, and the best meal of the week is chicken thighs. While Diddy is known as a stylish dresser, throwing his famous quote-unquote white parties, where everyone had to dress in white, and having his own Sean John clothing line, his prison wardrobe is limited. From what Fong has seen, they wear prison tan, khaki-colored clothing, and sometimes there's a brown t-shirt or brown shorts, depending on the temperature. MDC did not respond to the Post request for comment. Now, here's where the article gets hilarious, because why the Post, this is the best troll job you have ever done. They did have to put in some baby oil in there. There's no shortage of photos depicting Diddy during his days in the wild with a cell phone pressed to his ear. In MDC, he can spend the day on the phone. Prisoners get up to 30 minutes or 300 minutes of phone time per month, but that averages out to only about 10 minutes per day. If he's following the Sam Bankman-Fried model, Diddy will be able to work out a schedule for meetings with his lawyer. According to Fong, Bankman-Fried encountered Diddy at MDC and expressed an early impression of Diddy as he was a nice guy, kind. Early on, Diddy generally seemed nice to people. Sam Bankman-Fried described the mold-riddled facility as generally depressing, and he added to Fong, it's not designed to make you reform in some way, it's designed to break you. One ingredient which will sadly be missing from any attempt Diddy makes at staging a behind-the-bars freak-off is baby oil, which the feds say they confiscated over 1,000 bottles of from Diddy's residence, but which is not available at MDC. They have to use it, or they've used to have it in commissary, but no more. So Diddy will be oilless. What can we do? And what the hell is wrong with you, ma'am? Like, what? How hard is divorce? I don't get this. I get that you're a missionary. I get that divorce isn't, kosher in a lot of evangelical groups, but so is murder. So is murder. Murder is, also one of them commandmenty things. Even I, as the world's worst Christian, know this. Inside the murder of a missionary in Angola, allegedly planned by his wife and her lover in a $50,000 crime of passion. What an absolute B word. Again, don't want to stay with your husband? Get a divorce. Don't go full, Betty Broderick on him. A Minnesotan missionary, Bo Schroyer, was murdered in a crime of passion orchestrated by his own wife, police in Angola claim. Bo, his wife, Jackie Schroyer, and their 5 children had been in the remote bush of the Western African nation since setting up a mission there in 2021. Angolan police said that a guard hired by the family stabbed Bo to death in his vehicle on October 25th in the bush outside of the city of Lumbago, where the family lived in a walled compound. Jackie and 2 others were later arrested for allegedly organizing the hit, according to Criminal Investigation Service, or the CI or SIC. English is my first language, and I still don't get it sometimes. Of the Angolan police, a third man is at large, the police say. So this is the man who unfortunately lost his life. Let's see who the couple was. Where is the boyfriend? I don't get this. I really don't. Again, I understand that, you know, divorce is frowned upon, but so is murder. And I think in the grand scheme of things, God's gonna, hit you pretty hard for that thou shalt not kill thing. I just don't have any words, Carl Gessel, a friend of the couple's in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, told the Post. I'm shocked that this even happened. I can't believe she would do something like that. Manuel Hawala, a SIC spokesperson, said they have strong suspicions that Jackie was having an affair with the family's recently hired bodyguard, Bernardo Isaac Elias, 24. Jackie allegedly promised $50,000 for the hit on her husband and gave the guard $400 to help plan the attack in the remote bush area near the municipality of Hampada, where Bo was helping to start a farm, according to press reports and the police. Elias, in turn, allegedly hired 2 other men to unalive Bo: Islano Muslinga Cayu, a 23-year-old convicted felon nicknamed Vin Diesel, who is in custody, and Gelson Guerrero Ramos, 22, a man who is still at large on Monday, according to the police. 3 days before the murder, police say that Jackie went with Elias to help scout the crime scene. The men rented a car on the day of the killing and drove to Hampada, about a 40-mile drive from Lumbango. I'm just picking the greatest articles with which to butcher whichever language I'm using. The suspects faked car trouble, called Bo for help. The police said when the couple arrived, Jackie excused herself and went into the bush, claiming she needed to use the restroom, according to SIC. Authorities said they found a U.S. made knife that was used in the stabbing death, a gift from Jackie to her alleged lover, SIC claimed. SIC said they're ensuring Jackie has legal representation, and according to a spokesperson, Mark Brocher, no formal charges have been filed against Jackie yet. Friends of the family contacted by the Post said they were shocked but didn't want to say anything publicly until Angolan authorities complete the investigation. The State Department confirmed that an American had died in Angola but refused further comment. Authorities in Angola could not be reached for their comment last week. The Schroyers have been working for SIM USA, a North Carolina based evangelical Christian organization, which sponsored their youth ministry and has been overseeing missions around the world since 1893. Before they moved to Angola in 2021, the Schroyers had never lived abroad. Despite concerns from their family and friends after they announced that they were preparing to go to Africa to set up a mission for children under the age of 18, The Schroyers were excited about their adventure and the challenge of helping impoverished kids in one of the world's poorest countries. Bo told me that God led him to a different path, said Gessel, 45, who works at the door as a DoorDash driver and is a member of Bo and Jackie's Detroit Lakes Church in an interview with the Post. Before heading to Angola, Bo worked as a local realtor and police officer. He was able to help people when he got to Angola, said Gressel. He was a caring person, a kind person who would give you the shirt off his back. Gessel told the Post that Bo had promised to meet him for coffee when he was in the U.S. over the summer, but the meeting never took place. I can't see his wife doing that, said Gessel, who's known the couple for a few years. There's got to be something else, but I don't know if something happened between here and there. Others remembered Bo and his wife as deeply religious. A family friend, Cleon Stewart, said the family was moving to Africa at Jackie's urging. Jackie had visions of helping poor children, and Bo was right beside her, said Stewart, who had worked with Bo during the Detroit Lakes Festival of Birds, an annual birdwatching event hosted by the city of nearly 10,000. Bo volunteered to lead many of the birdwatching tours, said Stewart, who is the city's tourism director. He's really good as a field trip leader and really good at describing things, said Stewart, adding that Bo could easily describe at least 1,000 different bird species. He really knew his birds. The Schroyers sold their $300,000 bungalow in Callaway, Minnesota in 2021, according to public records, and settled for a language school in Belize, where they learned Portuguese, and Jackie during the presentation before the family's trip. The family was originally supposed to go to Portugal to learn the language, but the country would not allow foreigners into the country during the COOF pandemic, she said. I couldn't say anyone in my family was excited about it, Jackie told her Lakes Area Vineyard Church congregation in May 2021 video presentation, adding that her mother and sisters were very involved in the lives of their children and worried about the couple's decision to leave their home in the United States. Before I became a mother, I saw, pictures of children in extreme poverty, Jackie said. It just wrecked me. I need to go do something, and I began praying to God over the years. The only thing worse than lost children in the world is lost children no one is looking for. By the time they returned to seek more donations from congregants this summer, the Schroyers confessed life in Africa was a bit of a culture shock. For one thing, their 5 children were constantly battling malaria, and they were dealing with a lot of difficult security issues. They admitted they didn't trust the guards, who were charged with watching their compound in Lumbago and had endured 2 break-ins while sleeping. During their video presentation this summer, they said they were in the process of hiring new guards. Yeah, not for you to sleep with them, Chickola. Nice try. Like, yes, I'd like him to be 6'4", look like Henry Cavill. Oh, we're asking about his guarding stuff. I mean, he can be shirtless, right? We can do shirtless for this job. If true, what a heifer. No matter how hard it is, we want to go back, said Jackie, looking markedly thinner in a July video of the family's presentation at their church. She spoke enthusiastically about setting up a soup kitchen that fed 300 street children outside their home once a week, about a breakfast club where she teaches children to memorize Bible verses in exchange for prizes. Their 10-year-old son, Oakley, had even made a good friend in Bezamhino, a 10-year-old Angolan boy. He was one of the first ones to come to the door, Jackie said of her son's friend, adding that the children they helped called the couple Auntie Jackie and Uncle Bo. For his part, Bo seemed to be enjoying his time in Africa. He posted a photo of himself getting his hair cut at a modest barber shop where he had helped the owner obtain a barber's license. He was also trying to establish a farm outside the city on Hampatu Plateau where he was murdered. SIM has managed to convince the Angolan government to cede 7 acres to their project, and Bo is organizing the cultivation of the land. He said he hoped to build a well, but needed to construct a security fence beforehand. Every compound of the well would be stolen, or every component, of the well would be stolen probably overnight, he said, adding that he hoped to raise $150,000 to build a 10-foot high security fence topped with razor wire to keep thieves out of the property. Bo wasn't a perfect man, said his pastor, Troy Easton, during a church service last week in Detroit Lakes. He was just like the rest of us. He didn't get it right all the time, just like you don't, just like I don't. But he did believe in and trust Jesus, and we can rejoice and find comfort in the truth that he is forever with the King. No, how about Jesus stop his wife from cheating? I mean, look, I am the world's worst Christian, but maybe Jesus could have given him like a heads up, like heifer be stepping out, like just like a little like, hey, isn't that the knife that we just bought as a prize? And now random guard X over here who's always shirtless for no reason, you know, doggone it. I just This guy seemed like he was doing good, like he was trying to do good, and his wife just, offed him because she wanted to, I don't know, do whatever. Allegedly, she has not been, charged yet. It's still difficult to comprehend what Easton called the unimaginable. The news of Bo's death, along with now the heartbreaking news of Jackie's arrest in connection with his death, has overwhelmed us with grief and speculation and confusion. SIM is a nonprofit that employs 4,000 workers in 70 countries, according to its website. They've been sending back information on the Schroyer situation to their congregation in Minnesota. SIM remains committed to supporting the ongoing pursuit of justice for Bo and has taken steps to ensure that Jackie has appropriate legal representation, said the church group in statements on its website, adding that it's working with its sister organization in Angola. The statement said that the Schroyer children were still in Africa and they were being well cared for. Okay, how about this? How about you get the grandma and the aunties tickets to go over there and bring those kids home? Because mom's obviously made her choice, at least for now, and she can't mom while she's in prison. So get these kids back into a familiar environment because their entire world has crumbled. And doggone it, Jackie, if it turns out that you did this because of, loin fire, we're going full Chad Daybell, you suck. You suck. You took your kids to a foreign area, you took your husband there, and you made choices that now make both of their basically make them orphans, and you suck so much. Well, if you want to go to Haiti right now, airlines will not take you there. Airlines have suspended Haitian flights after an airplane was hit by force multiplier power. Several airlines have suspended flights to Haiti after a passenger plane from the US was hit by gunfire as it tried to land in Port-au-Prince. Spirit Airlines Flight 951 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, was diverted to the neighboring Dominican Republic, where it landed safely at Santiago Airport. A flight attendant suffered minor injuries, but no passengers were hurt in the attack, the second in 3 weeks on an aircraft flying over Haiti's capital. The incident comes as a new prime minister took office in the crisis hit country, which has been plagued by armed gangs and escalating violence. Alex Didier Fils Ami said his priority was quote unquote restoring security, according to AFP news agency. Notwithstanding the country's difficult circumstances, he promised to put all of his energy, skills, and patriotism at the service of a national cause. The businessman who stood unsuccessfully for a seat in Senate in 2015 studied at Boston University. He was installed by the country's ruling council after the previous leader, Gary Connell, was ousted less than 6 months into the job. The Spirit Airlines flight had been scheduled to land at Toussaint International Airport just before 12, 12 p.m. when it was hit. Unverified video of the incident shared on social media appeared to show several bullet holes on the inside of the aircraft where crew sit during takeoff and landing. Spirit Airlines said the damage was consistent with gunfire and had been found when the plane was inspected at Santiago Airport. The aircraft was taken out of commission, Spirit added. Well, I'm glad Spirit I'm glad you didn't cheap out and just put duct tape over the bullet holes, you know? You raised my thoughts in Spirit Airlines. The airline did say that it has suspended flights to Haiti pending further evaluation. Two other U.S. airlines, American Airlines and JetBlue, have also suspended flights to Haiti at least until Thursday. The security situation further deteriorated in Haiti in the recent months. In October, violent gang members opened fire at a UN helicopter, causing some airlines to temporarily cancel flights to the Caribbean nation. A UN backed policing mission led by officers from Kenya and began in June and attempted to wrest back control from the gangs. So I don't know how that's going. The article doesn't really say how that particular venture with the Kenyan officers coming in to kind of restore peace is going. I'm guessing not well if airplanes are still getting, sniped at. But, don't put yourself in danger's way. I am sure there are lovely people that come from Haiti, and when it's not dangerous, I'm sure there are nice places to go, but maybe don't go right now when things are going all the crazy. In God Bless the Internet, moment number 3012 for 2024, Danny effin' DeVito has broken the top 10 of the world's sexiest bald men for the 2024, ousting many bald hunks. But Danny DeVito, the sex icon that we never knew we always needed. I love the internet. God bless 2024. Matilda's dad is the zaddy. Danny DeVito might not be able to beat Vin Diesel in high-speed car races, but when it comes to being one of Hollywood's hottest and hairless heartthrobs, the 4'10" New Jersey native has him licked, per a head-turning new report. Quote, bald men have stolen the hearts of millions of people around the world, from Stanley Tucci to Zendane to John Travolta, wrote the study authors from Reboot, a search marketing agency. We've conducted scientific research and crunched the numbers to officially crown the sexiest bald man for 2024. DeVito, 79, secures spot number 6 in the top 10 ranking of the world's most bettable bald beans. I did not know baldy beans was a thing, but now I'm definitely stealing that. While muscle-bound Vin Diesel, 57, rounds out the list at 10, the follically challenged Fast X foxtails behind smooth on tops like Samuel L. Jackson, number 7 at 75, and Tucci at number 9 at 64. Representatives for DeVito did not immediately respond to the post request for comment. But this year's hunky hierarchy comes with a hair-raising fall from grace for Diesel. Apparently, Diesel is no longer the hottest. You had to pick like the grossest picture of him. Come on now. Vin Diesel usually looks better. That's like you got him mid-sneeze. That's not fair. Come on, Post. Be honest. The Guardians of the Galaxy God, let's see here. The Guardians of the Galaxy God usurped the top spot on the Reboot roster from Prince Williams in 2022. Experts on the bald and beautiful previously hailed Diesel as the cutest cue ball of them all, owing to his facial golden ratio, a mathematic principle used to measure the balance and proportions of one's facial features, net worth, height, and social media buzz. Doggone curtains are not blocking the sun the way they're supposed to. But His Majesty 42 has not resumed the throne in the 2024 ranking, returning to the number 1 Chrome Dome due to his undeniable sex appeal. For their latest findings, investigators considered each balding bloke's smile, golden ratio, media perception, vocal attractiveness, height, and shine factor. Insiders also analyzed the monthly search volumes for shirtless and naked images. Okay, I'm going to need, if you are looking for shirtless and naked Danny DeVito stuff, I'm gonna need you to come to the front of the classroom and the congregation. I'm going to need you to explain yourself. We are not here to shame you. I just wanna know what life choices led you down the path of looking for Danny DeVito naked, because I want to avoid those life choices. I I'm not judging, I just wanna know what happened. I loved him in Twins. I always felt so bad for him. Because, Arnold got all the good genes and poor Danny DeVito got, the leftovers. I always felt so bad for him. I was like, "He is not a leftover, he's just short." Prince William outpaced his peach-like peers, though, because duh, he's Prince William. I mean, he can even make the bald comb-over look good. Godoy. Our research found that 16,800 people searched for shirtless or naked images of the royal this year. Well, I mean, don't look at my search history. His smooth scalp scored an impressive 74% for luminous. His face achieved a 72% on the golden ratio, and his voice attractiveness is rated at 9.9 out of 10, second only to former basketball player and sports analyst Shaquille O'Neal. So, whether you're a movie man, an athlete, or on deck to be a king or a corn star, skin rather than hair is in, or so says the adult film performer Johnny Sins, who apparently was also on the list. I didn't know that they gave you like your own, I guess, IMDb. I don't know. Like, how does one credit oneself on LinkedIn for like stepmom wash machine, challenge number 4 in 3D? I mean, I don't know how one aspires to be a great, you know, porn star, but there you go, Johnny Sins for the win. Leaning into your hair loss journey is a great way to get more time in the bedroom, said the 45-year-old Korn frontman in April. Some of the most talented people in the world are bald, and they are some smooth operators, all right. So the top list for these bald babes this year: Prince William at number 1, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at number 2, Shaquille O'Neal at number 3, Kelly Slater, no idea who that is, at number 4, Terry Crews at number 5, Danny DeVito at number 6, Samuel L. Jackson at 7, Thierry Henry at 8, Stanley Tucci at 9, and Vin Diesel at 10. Daggone it, Mr. Mo was this close. Poor Mr. Mo. Okay, so it's wife confession time. Mr. Mo has a bald spot, and I never told him about this because it's way in the back of his head, and I know guys can get, it's just like when, as a chick, you put on your scut, like, fat jeans, and you still have a hard time buttoning them, and you're like, "Well, there goes my day. I'm gonna eat some more ice cream," not really dealing with the fact that, my fluffy jeans don't fit because I've eaten a lot of ice cream. So I never told Mr. Mo, like, never. I would have gone to my grave with him not knowing that he had a little tiny bald spot, like, youngest, most feral. Youngest, most feral outed me, and he is out of the will. Out of the will. Because, like, about 6 months ago, he Mr. Mo was sitting on the ground, I think, putting something together for the boys, and youngest, most feral, in a loud but that kid voice is like, "You have a bald spot. You're going bald." And Mr. Mo looks at me, and I have this deer in the headlight look, like, um and he's like, "Do I really have a bald spot?" And I was like, "It's not no, like, you don't know." Like, I wasn't gonna say anything until I saw a greater trend to baldness to tell you. Like, I wasn't gonna say anything, you know? It was just not. And he's like, "Take a picture of it. I can't believe you've lied to me my entire life." It just so I took a picture, and it felt so bad, and I was like, "Youngest, most feral, what is wrong with you? Why?" I I was never gonna bring it up, I was never gonna talk about it, but youngest, most feral just goes out of his way to point it out now, like, "Yeah, your bald spot's still there, dad. There you go." Bald spot's still there. So, I did tell you guys, and we have a little bit of time left. I can put the other stories, toward the end of the day, but we have a life lesson from the 2 youngest, most ferals. As happens most of the time in these stories, I am driving them to school. It is a chilly morning outside. Even my new to me car is telling me like the roads could be icy. Watch yourself. I do love that my car is like, you might not be able to put context clues together, but there is ice and it puts a little like a snowflake on my car. So that's pretty, or my little display. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just sitting there and I'd had to have, this look at my son like, I don't care if you don't feel cold, take a jacket. I'm not getting a call from CPS. So, as generally happens, I'm, driving the car and I'm only slightly starting to clue in on this conversation behind me. But the boys are talking about uh you know, th cold is the worstest. I hate when my hands get cold. And then both boys look at each other, and I don't know if there was some twin synergy, like Irish twin synergy, but both of them said, "Yeah, but when your nuts freeze, it's the worst." And he's like, "Yeah, freezer, nut burn is the worst." And I'm like, "What? Wait a minute. It's covered by underpants, then your jeans, then, a coat. How does one freeze one's nuts?" And and they're like, "Yeah, it's like when it hurts. Mom, what happens to your nuts when it's cold?" And I was like, "Well, I think we need to have a whole 'nother conversation." But they're like, "Yeah, like frozen nuts are the worst." And I was like, "Well, don't they just generally get like," as a girl, not having nuts to freezer burn, I was not, quite sure how, but I was like, "Well, don't they just get closer to your body?" They're like, "No, they freezer off. It's the worstest thing ever. You're so lucky you don't have nuts." I was like, "Well, I often say that in the morning. That's what I do." You know? So so my youngest, most feral is like, "I know what I'm gonna do. I am going to invent a glove for your nuts so you don't get nut freezer burn." And as I'm realizing we're coming close to the school, I'm like, "You guys, I've learned something new. I can imagine I will do great things with this general knowledge, but you cannot talk about this in school." There's like, "But boys would understand, boys will get it, and it's a real thing, and mom, we need gloves." And I'm like, they're like, "You do that thing with the I do crocheting sometimes." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, could you crochet us some warmers?" And I'm like, I will look at that today and see if there's a pattern for schmeckle warmth, but for not right now, and don't talk about this in school." Like, so there you guys go. If you are, well, not an owner of testicles or, we're unaware of the silent plight of cold, chilly bits and pieces. I could not. I nearly died on the way into school. I was just like, "Where did you come up with why? What?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's a total thing, mom. Like, you know." And so there you go. Always learn new things. Apparently, pray for the flight or the plight of cold testicles. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I just had to share that with you guys because I learned something new, and if I learned something new, then you guys learned something new too. I can only imagine the kids taking down this channel when they get older and realize that I tell all of tell all of their stories on here. They're gonna be like, we did not authorize our people did not, authorize the release of this story." So there you go. We do have some good news. Danny DeVito, obviously super sexy. And, I am off to buy some yarn for twig and berry warmers because, it's the Christmas gift that keeps on giving. Oh my goodness. Actually, I am, actually going to go get my oil changed because my new to me car, tells me when it's naggy in the way that only my mother could be. Because like, every time I try to turn on the car with its, godless no key, and I'm just like and you can't hear it because the engine's so silent. I know, first world problems. I shouldn't be bitching about this, but it puts it on both displays, like, "You need to go to your dealer for maintenance," and I'm like, "Yeah, I have that planned on Tuesday, could you stop nagging me?" No, it is like the worst girlfriend ever. It's like, "Have you thought about getting me maintenance?" And I'm like, "Have you thought about just waiting 1 damn minute? I have verdicts coming in." So there you go, a little glimpse into the life with me and my feral children. Which, happens every once in a while. I will be back for nightly newsy news. It might be a slightly shorter show. So we have a game plan for middle daughter's car, which involves one of us strapping in like evil freaking Knievel into this car that may or may not have a good alternator after juicing up the battery and driving to AutoZone to see if they'll do the diagnostic test and then make sure that it's the alternator. Now, normally I'm all for choice, but middle daughter's current boyfriend, I'm going ahead and pushing for them to get married because he's a mechanic. I'm like, "We need to bring a mechanic on board." I'm okay with teen marriage as long as it means we have a mechanic. I'm just kidding. He's a really sweet boy who offered to help with the alternator if we bought it, and that's what the problem is. But, it, it's definitely one of those things I'm like, "Middle daughter, I need look at me in the eyes. Mechanic. Like, just marry this kid now." There may be a reason my daughters don't claim me in public, but, I just say it like it is. I'm like, "He's a mechanic. He's a keeper even if he balds." He too can be sexy just like Danny DeVito. God love the internet. I needed that Danny DeVito story after yesterday, so I am glad I got to share that with you guys. I will see you tonight at 6 PM. I know it's a bit earlier, but it actually has really helped in, being able to kinda connect with my family members. Usually when it was at 7, they were all kind of doing their own thing around that time, so I never got to tell them like good night or catch up on their day. So this actually works really well. I will have more absurd stories. Perhaps I will show you a prototype that I have crocheted. I do not know. It will depend on how long the oil change takes and if I get sidetracked by shiny things in Walmart. So I will see you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but carry a can of bitch fire because kindness doesn't mean doormat. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye.